Hello friends, in this video we are going to solve two special problems based on the Routh-Hurwitz criteria. Let us begin. So look at question number 1. It says the characteristic equation is 1 plus k e to the power minus s whole divided by s into s square plus 8s plus 9 and this is equal to 0. Find the approximated value of k for which the system is stable. So you have to find the value of k for which the system is stable. It means definitely this question belongs to Routh-Hurwitz criteria because we used to do the same things. So what is so special in this problem? Let me tell you. The special in this problem is the exponential term which is present e to the power minus s. Look at this. This is something else that you haven't done so far. It is involving some exponential term, right? Generally, to solve the Routh-Hurwitz criteria, we need a Routh-Hurwitz array, and to solve that array, definitely we require some algebraic equations or algebraic expressions rather. Over here, what is given to us is the exponential term. So this exponential term is a problem for us which will not let us perform the Routh-Hurwitz criteria. For that, what we can actually do, we can do something so that I can actually convert e to the power minus s into algebraic terms. How can we do that? By performing something called as a linear approximation. That is, first of all, we will go for a Taylor series, and then after that Taylor series, we can do some approximation. So it was in first year of engineering, you must have learned that Taylor series, where, for example, if we have term e to the power x, which is given as 1 plus x plus x square upon 2 factorial plus x cube upon 3 factorial, and this goes on. This is a never ending series. Now we have to select only those terms which are the effective terms. For example, over here we don't have e to the power x, but what we have is e to the power minus s. So refer the above series, and wherever there is x, replace with minus s. So what we will have is 1 minus s plus x square means it is square of minus s, so it becomes again positive s square upon 2 factorial. Then we have to write x cube, so it is minus s cube will remain minus s cube divided by 3 factorial, and again, as we know, this is a never ending series. As I said, after going for a Taylor series, let us approximate the value of e to the power minus s. So what I can do, I'll assume e to the power minus s is equal to 1 minus s, and I'll ignore rest of the term. Why I'm ignoring rest of the term? It is just because I just don't want to make this problem complex, and otherwise what is really asked to me, not the exact value of k, but the approximated value of k. The thing is, you can also consider one extra term, that is s square upon 2 factorial. So it will do. Reason I can even consider the third term actually, so that the power of s in the numerator will become 2 and the power in the denominator will become 3, and this is what we want, a practically realizable system where number of poles are always greater than number of zeros. So of course you can go for third term also, and also it is possible that I can consider only two terms. So for me, I'm going to consider first two term, that is 1 minus s. So wherever there is e to the power minus s, I'm just going to replace this as 1 minus s. So let me write the given characteristic equation again. So it was 1 plus k times e to the power minus s is now replaced as 1 minus s divided by, we had s multiplied by s square plus 8s plus 9, and this whole thing is equal to 0. Let us perform the cross multiplication. So if I just open it and then I transfer over here, it will become s cube plus 8s square plus 9s plus k times, writing 1 minus s, instead we can just take this k inside now and I can write minus ks, and this is equal to 0. So let me rewrite this properly, s cube plus 8s square, the term which are along with s can be brought together. So it will become in bracket 9 minus k times s plus k, and this is equal to 0. Now I really got the algebraic expression, the algebraic equation by which now I can form the roots array. So let me go for the roots array now. S cube, s square, s to the power 1, s to the power 0. So let me write alternative coefficients. So I'm going to start with 1, then I'll take 9 minus k, then the remaining term which is 8 and k. You know that after solving the very last element, that is at s to the power 0, I'll get the same term, that is k over here. So only one term that I have to calculate is the term which is present over here, and it is just given by 8 into 9 minus k minus 1 into k divided by 8 itself. So it is 8 into 9 minus k minus k divided by 8. So you know that you have to find the range of value of k in such a way that it gives you a stable system. You know that according to the Routh-Hurwitz criteria, all the elements in the first column of root array should have the same sign. So over here, looking at these elements, I can conclude that in order to have no sign change, all the elements must be positive. So from S0, I can conclude that k should be greater than 0. So let me write it. From S0, I can conclude that k must be greater than 0. And from S1, we can consider 8 into 9 minus k by 8 should also be greater than 0. Shifting 8 to the right hand side, we will get 8 into 9 minus k should be greater than 0. Let us take 8 inside. Minus 8k minus k should be greater than 0, or I can say 72 must be greater than 9k, or 8 should be greater than k, or I can say k should be less than 8. Let me consider this is condition 2. Let me consider this is condition 1. So now I need to take the value of k in such a way that equation 1 or equation 2, or I would say criteria 1 and criteria 2, both must get satisfied. Criteria 1 says k must be greater than 0, and criteria 2 says k should be less than 8. So I can just take the common range that k should be greater than 0 but should be less than 8. And please remember, this is not the exact range of k, but this is considered as approximated range of k. Why it is approximated? Because we have considered e to the power minus s as 1 minus s. People may feel, why such system is given? Why it is given as e to the power minus s? Is it really practically possible system? Of course, it is practically realizable system. Let me remind you, if you have learned in signals and systems, if x of t has a Laplace transform as x of s, then x of t minus 1 has got Laplace transform as e to the power minus s times x of s. So whenever there is a presence of e to the power minus s term in the Laplace domain, it indicates there is a delay in time domain. So e to the power minus s indicates there is delay present. In which domain? Of course, time domain. And using delay system in time domain is much popular. Okay, it is very obvious that we use delay systems in time domain. So e to the power minus s term is a very general term, a very obvious term which is present. So it is a practical system. Okay, so this is just to have extra knowledge. Let's move to the last problem. So let us go through this problem. The characteristic equation s into s square plus 6s plus 13 plus k, it is equal to 0. Find the value of k such that the characteristic equation has pair of complex conjugate roots with real part to be minus 1. So it is very general to find the range of k or the value of k. But then what is different in this problem is that they have asked us to find k such a way that there should be a complex conjugate roots. I mean, generally the restrictions that they put is according to the system's stability. Like, a system should be stable, it should be unstable, or it should be marginally stable. For that, we have a habit to find the value of k. This time they are asking you the value of k only. Look at the criteria. The criteria is that this equation will have a pair of complex conjugate roots, and that too with a real part equal to -1. How to proceed with this? Okay, so don't worry. Definitely, I'll tell you how to solve this question. I'll just give you the steps to be followed, okay? So just go with the steps and then I'll tell you why I'm following this way, okay? Let us see. So we have already studied the relative stability with the help of the Root-Hurwitz criteria. If you remember, we used to shift the j omega axis to the left hand side by certain units. For example, if I'm shifting it by 1, the reason why I'm shifting it by 1, because I want my real part to become -1. So what I'm actually doing, as I said, I'll tell you at the end why I'm doing this, but right now just follow the steps. What I'm going to do is I'm going to replace my s with s1 minus 1, with s1 minus 1. So this is what we perform, a relative stability. So let me now write the new characteristic equation is, so we had s here, replace with s1 minus 1 multiplied by, it is s1 minus 1 the whole square plus 6 into s1 minus 1 plus 13 plus k. This is equal to 0. So even though it appears to be quite tedious, just be patient and see this s1 minus 1 as it is. What I'll do, I'll just solve this, okay? So it is s1 square minus twice of s1 plus 1. Let us take this 6 inside. It becomes 6s1 minus 6 plus 13 plus k, and this is equal to 0. So minus 2s1 plus 6s1 becomes 4s1, and 13 minus 6 is 7 plus 1 is 8. So s1 minus 1 is now going to get multiplied with s1 square plus 4s1 plus 8 plus k. So now I can take this s1 inside, and after solving this, so now just multiply these two brackets, you will get the following equation that I'm writing. It is s1 cube plus 3s1 square plus 4s1 plus k minus 8, and this is equal to 0. So now I have the final characteristic equation for which now I can go easily for the Root-Hurwitz array. Let me go for that. So let me rewrite this characteristic equation here for our reference. It is s1 cube plus 3s1 square plus 4s1 plus k minus 8, and this is equal to 0. So let me start with s1 cube, then s1 square, then s1 and s1 to the power 0. Let us write the alternate coefficients, which is 1, then we have 4, and that's it. Then the remaining coefficients, let me write, that is 3 and k minus 8. And also we know that at s to the power 0, this k minus 8 term will only come. And what do we have at s1 position? Very simple. It is 3 into 4, which is nothing but 12, multiplied by 1 into k minus 8, which is k minus 8. That is 12 minus k minus 8 will come, divided by 3. And there is nothing present here, right? So why I did this, I'll tell you. Now I have formed only roots array. What I'm going to do over here, I'm going to apply special case 2. So you know that special case 2 means there should be all 0 row, and this condition must occur at the odd power. So here the odd power is either s cube or s1 to the power 1. So it is not possible to have all 0 row at s1 cube, but then it is possible to have all 0 row at s1 to the power 1, because 0 is already there and here k is variable. So I can adjust my k in such a way that I can have the first element also 0. So I'll get all 0 row over here. So what I'm actually going to impose is a special case 2. Of course, you will get into the doubt why I'm going for special case 2. So if you remember, we go for special case 2 just because we want our poles to be present on j omega axis. Yes or no? We want our poles to be on j omega axis. Even in this case, I want my poles to go on j omega axis. But then, if you remember, they are not asking you your poles should be present on j omega axis. What they really want is they want a complex conjugate poles or complex conjugate roots with real part to be -1. And let me tell you, even in our case, even if I say that my poles are lying on j omega axis, don't worry, your j omega axis is not present at sigma equal to 0. It has been already shifted at sigma equal to -1. I hope you remember what we have done over here. Look at this. This is what is original S plane, where j omega is present at, let's say, sigma equal to 0. With replacing S with S1 minus 1, you have already shifted your j omega axis to the left by 1 unit. So let me draw the modified S plane is this. It has been shifted at -1. So this is present at sigma equal to -1 already. I hope you understand my point. So what is going to happen if I find the poles which are lying on j omega axis, they will always have their real part as -1, and this is what we want, right? So even though we are finding complex conjugate roots with real part to be -1, what we are doing over here, we just have a characteristic equation and blindly we are trying to find the poles on j omega axis, which automatically will have the real part not as 0 but real part to be -1. I hope you understood my point. In order to do that, you know that 12 minus of k minus 8 whole divided by 3 must be equal to 0. So this is equated to 0. So what is going to happen? This 3 will get shifted there. So I can write 12 equal to what? It is k minus 8. Or I can say k equal to what? 20. So finally we have the answer. So k should become 20. Only in that case you will get the complex conjugate pair of poles where its real part will be equal to -1. I'm sure you have understood this problem very well. So before we conclude this session, I just want to give you certain shortcuts. Which shortcuts I'm talking about? Please pay attention. This is going to save your time to a greater extent. The shortcuts that I'm going to tell you, it is for the Routh-Hurwitz criteria where the power is 3. The power of characteristic equation should be 3. And most of the time in the gate problems, you will see that you will always come across the characteristic equation where the power will be 3. What I mean to say, let me just write it. Suppose we have an equation as s cube plus, let's say, 8s square plus 2s plus, let me write over here, is 10, and this is equal to 0. So this is the one system that I have. Let me write some second example, that is s cube plus, suppose we have these 3 characteristic equation for which we have to identify whether the system is stable, unstable or marginally stable. You don't have to really solve it in a traditional way. Just by observing, you can say whether it is stable, unstable or marginally stable. How to do that? Look at this. You have to remember this way. If the internal product is greater than external product, then it is always stable. If you find that the internal product is lesser than external product, understand it is unstable. And obviously only one condition is left, where I say internal product equal to external product, then it is marginally stable. Or you can say critically stable, where poles are lying on j omega axis, etc. So how to take internal product? Look at this. 8 multiplied by 2. So I'm just, taking the coefficients. So 8 into 2 gives you internal product. Over here we have by default 1. So 1 into 10 becomes an external product. So look at this. 8 into 2 is what? It is 16. So this is internal product. What is external product? It is 1 multiplied by 10. So it becomes 10. Can't you see 16 is greater than 10? If 16 is greater than 10, definitely the system given is stable. See, you don't have to really even go through those traditional steps. Okay, it is going to save your time, as I said. Over here, again take internal product like this. That is 8 into 5. So what is 8 into 5? It is 40. Then take external product. We have 1 here, we have 45 here. Take product of 1 with 45. Obviously it is 45. This time, can't you see that internal product is lesser than external product? So the respective system is unstable. If I do 8 into 2, it will be 16. So my internal product is 16. Whereas external product, if you look at this, 1 into 16 is also 16. The moment you get internal product equal to external product, try to understand it is always marginally stable system. So let me now show you a demo. If you apply this theory, wherever the characteristic equation is having order equal to 3, it is going to save your time to the greater extent. Let's see how. So if you remember, we have this equation. Look at this. For this equation, we had to find the range of value of k in such a way that it would be a stable system. So let me just copy this equation as it is, that is s cube plus 8s square plus 9 minus ks plus k. So the equation was s cube plus 8s square plus 9 minus k into s plus k equal to 0. So we wanted to put the restriction on k such a way that the system should be stable. In that case, you know that internal product must be greater than external product is the criteria. What is internal product? It is product of 8 with 9 minus k. So it is 8 multiplied by 9 minus k. This should be greater than external product, where the external product is 1 into k. That's it. So it is 72 minus 8k should be greater than k, or I can say 72 should be greater than 9k, or 8 should be greater than k, or I can say k should be lesser than 8. One more thing, if you want to apply the Routh-Hurwitz criteria, all elements should be non-zero, and rather we always come across the cases that we believe that each and every element should be positive. So from this you can actually conclude that even this k should be greater than 0. So look at this, k should be greater than 0, k should be less than 8. You can come to a common conclusion that k should be greater than 0 and should be less than 8. So much of your time will be saved at the end if you know these shortcuts. I hope you understand my point. So even for the second problem, we can apply shortcut because we have the order of characteristic equation as 3 only. Let's go back. So if you remember over here, we wanted to apply special case 2. If you remember, what is special case 2? Special case 2 means the poles should be on j omega axis, isn't it? Or the system is marginally stable, because when poles are on j omega axis, system is always marginally stable. So you just try for condition where internal product is equal to external product for marginal stability. So here if I apply that criteria that internal product should be equal to external product, it is going to save your time. How? Look at this. You will do 3 into 4. That is 12. This must be equal to 1 into k minus 8. Can't you see here you got k equal to 20? So basically it saves you by performing this Routh-Hurwitz array, which is going to save your time. I'm sure now these shortcuts were useful for you and you may use them in the GATE exam. But yes, again, you have to remember certain things like internal product should be greater than external product, or internal product should be lesser than external product for unstable system, or they must be equal if you want your system to be marginally stable. As you go for GATE examination, there are even other subjects for which again you have to remember so many things. So it might happen that you may forget these shortcuts. Did not to worry, you know the traditional method, you can still go for it. Thank you.